Are you tired of mental health solutions that just don't work? What if the future of psychiatry isn't about more pills, but about a whole new healing of the mind and body together? Today, you're about to meet the doctor who's rewriting the rule book. Welcome back to Keeping It Real on Purpose. I'm your host, Edna White, and today's guest is Dr. Paul D. Corona, MD. He's a Southern California based physician with over 30 years of experience who's reshaping the future of psychiatry and family medicine. Dr. Corona isn't your typical physician. After starting his family medicine, he transitioned into psychiatry, where he developed his own pioneering method called mind and body healing. He's the author of the My Mind and Body Healing series and the latest book, The Corona Protocol. He breaks down the revolutionary strategies that challenge conventional treatments and gets real results. Welcome to the show, Dr. Paul.
Thank you so much. It's great to be on with you.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So I want to get right into it and get the flow going.
Yep.
Dr. Paul, you talk about mind and body healing. In my work, I see how trauma gets trapped in the body and keeps people from living fully. How does your approach actually free people from that cycle?
Well, when I first got into and when I was in medical school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I liked like a little bit of everything. So
Uh-huh.
I chose to become a family doctor because I thought, well, I can do psychiatry, I can do pediatrics and all this. And during the 1990s, when I started, there were some really great medications that came out.
Okay.
And one called Effexor, which was after the first three SSRIs like Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is it also balances not just serotonin but norepinephrine. So I started seeing with my patients I was giving it to, saying, you know what, my headaches are gone, my back pain is better, my neck, my shoulders, my stomach, so I started seeing this physical link with, and I started to see this with emotion, that the stress was causing physical
Right.
body, irritable bowel syndrome, fibromyalgia, and especially the neck and upper neck and shoulder area, that area. So I started seeing this link and realizing that there was a chemical nature to the link and that it tied in with stress. So during the 1990s, I was just fascinated by this. And during that decade, I got more and more interested in psychiatry. And just basically in about 2000 or so, I phased into giving up my primary care practice and moving to psychiatry. I think what happens, these psychiatrists think about the brain but not the body, and I think primary care doctors think about the body but not the brain. And so what I kind of did is put them together, and that led to my first series of books, which took me 12 years to complete, called Healing the Mind and Body. And so I just basically documenting everything I learned, and it was, and I wrote the books because I wrote the first book not knowing I would eventually write 6 books. So the Corona Protocol is my 6th book, but I didn't realize, but I knew that I was seeing something that I wasn't reading about. The textbooks that I was reading, psychiatric books, they weren't talking about it. So I started writing because I realized that this information wasn't readily available, and that's that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That's good. Most of my audience has been told just manage and their anxiety or depression. You don't sound like that type of person to say that.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who are tired of Band-Aid fixes?
Tired of what?
Band-Aid fixes.
Of standing prescriptions?
Band-Aid fixes. Like the general fixes.
About anxiety and depression?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think that people have to remember, everyone's got stress in their life. Everyone kind of feels sad off and on. There's a difference between normal stress and normal sadness at times with an actual clinical problem, where with anxiety, an anxiety disorder is more pervasive, more persistent. Or with the major depressive disorder, the sadness is more than just occasional. It's just persistent. And when I hear people tell me I just don't feel myself anymore, I used to feel good, and this is not me, that's where I step in and say, okay, that's my goal with all my patients, is to get them back to themselves again.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel guilty and they feel shame, like my life is okay, I don't have any reason to feel this way, and so there's a lot of guilt and shame around mood issues because people think psychiatric issues are different than other areas of medicine. They think
Right.
it's just all in your mind. You just should be able to be tough enough. You should be, especially men. I think men get it even. Men get
Yeah,
it
they do. They
because
do.
men are macho things. So men don't like to display signs of weakness. So it's a difficult area that a lot of people struggle with, and a
Right.
lot of people struggle with the treatment because a lot of people don't want to take medication. Not that that's the only option, but it's a very good option other than counseling and exercise and all that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. What why did you stop, going by that traditional playbook that everybody goes by, and what made you stop doing that?
Well, because I realized it was wrong, and I
Hmm.
realized that a lot of things I was reading just weren't true. Here's a typical example:
Okay.
an SSRI. Well, the one is the SSRIs are the best first line medications. I disagree. Most
Hmm.
doctors will give people Zoloft or Lexapro, and
Right.
they do. And I think the problem is SSRIs are, I think, the second best first line treatment, not the best first line, like most
Okay.
doctors get it.
Okay.
There's too many
Okay.
side effects. The other thing is that, it's going to take 4 to 6 to 8 weeks for this medication to kick in.
Yeah, I've
That's
heard that. Yes. Uh-huh.
complete nonsense. It's never been true ever. But somehow that myth is out there. And so
Right.
medications, especially if you dose them correctly, should take no more than a week to two of them to work. Uh,
Hmm.
there's also a lack of creativity about how to combine medications together that have different modes of action that work.
Yes. Yes.
So
Absolutely.
there's a lot of just same old out there. I just don't see a lot of creativity. I don't see, because the rules, I think the psychiatric rules are wrong, and so I started,
Hmm.
things aren't right here,
Yeah.
and so the conventional ways of doing things is boring. It's not exciting. It's not getting
Hmm.
people fully better. Uh,
Hmm.
my goal is called remission. Remission means getting people fully better. No
Right.
symptoms at all. That's my goal with everyone. Where most doctors will get people to better. Are you better? Yeah, I'm better, but well, okay, good, goodbye.
Right. Right.
You can leave now. But it's like, yeah, but I'm still
Hmm.
tired. I'm still not sleeping well. Well, get some exercise. Okay, goodbye. So a lot of doctors, blow people off. Don't spend enough time with them. Customer service is terrible in medicine usually.
Right. Right.
What I try to do with my patients is spend really an adequate amount of time with them and listen to all their concerns, explain what I'm doing,
Right.
which is unusual in medicine, that I can actually return every phone call every day, same day, every email.
Hmm.
It takes a lot to keep up with all of it, but
Right.
I'm dedicated to my patients and getting them better and keeping them better.
Right. I love how what you're saying, because I've had a client that actually she had a adverse reaction to it when she's, because of, she was depressed. She got more depressed. Have you seen, things like that?
What's happening is it's a misdiagnosis, and so if
Hmm.
someone is depressed and antidepressants makes them more depressed, or
Hmm.
it makes them feel suicidal, and you're going
Right.
to see that with these black box warning, and that's what scares people. Oh, that you hear what they say, it's going to cause suicide. It doesn't do that. If you're depressed, truly depressed, they say
Hmm.
they don't take lives. What's going on
Right.
is it's a misdiagnosis. The person might have a subtle case of bipolar disorder,
Right.
and
I got you. Okay. Okay.
bipolar disorder doesn't necessarily mean the mania. The more subtle variation of bipolar disorder, bipolar depression,
Got you.
which is not very pretty indistinguishable sometimes with regular depression, but if you ask the right question to get the right history, you should be able to
Right.
pick
Right.
out. And then if I see that happening with any antidepressant, I pull it away immediately and go a different direction, saying, okay, we need
Hmm.
to start with a mood stabilizer. We need to go a whole different direction with this person now.
Right. Right. Gotcha. Yeah, because I've seen even, they spend a little bit of time with you, and then they're already prescribing medicines, and I don't like that, and I'm so glad that you're talking about this now,
Quick, it's
because,
too quick.
it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's so important. They just want to dole out the pills, you know. It's like, here you go, you know. And let's talk about like how medications, like you said prior, is how they can sometimes conflict with either other medications and you know not be effective.
I'm sorry, my volume is on. So can you ask that one more time?
I said you said something about you know medications sometimes don't mix well with other medications or you know kind of you know obstruct the person. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's got to be. I mean, if a medication is causing side effects with minimal benefit, it's just the wrong
Hmm.
medication. For example, let's take an SSRI.
Okay.
Problems with an SSRI, which is the most common things given. Most problem common is apathy, feeling flat, feeling lack of emotion,
Yes.
sexual side effects.
Hmm.
So there, you know, I mean, but if it's working really well,
Hmm.
except for it has a couple side effects, you know, maybe I add Wellbutrin or to take care of the side effects. So there's, you know, there's ways of mixing things together. But I want to make
Gotcha.
sure
Okay. Okay.
if someone's not on the right one, I think that I think I can do better. You know, I'm not going to add something to something that's not
Hmm.
not already a good medication. A lot of my patients are on two or three things, but I explain to them why if they want to get that really, if they really want to get to their goal, which is, you know, the back to themselves again. It often takes more than one, but again, what I do is I draw diagrams. I explain how the nervous
That's
system.
good.
I explain here's what this medication does, here's what that
That's
does.
good.
I do an explanation with every patient. Here's what I'm doing. Here's why I'm doing it. So just openly communicating with them,
Hmm.
and then listening to them and listening to
Yeah.
like, what are you concerned? What have you tried in the past that didn't work? What are you,
Mhm.
you know? So you just have to really be open communication with patients
Sure. You're empowering the patient.
and
That's great.
empower them
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's in that, and in my success rate is extremely high, because I've had so much experience doing things the way I do it, and it's kind of my own methods in a sense because I learned
Hmm.
how to do it on my own really without much
Yeah.
guidance, but just figuring it out on my own.
Yeah, that's good. You help your clients your clients or your patients understand mental health, and sometimes we want it to work really quickly. How do you help them understand it's not a quick you know not a quick fix, but it's a balance?
Well, it's fairly quick. I mean, the medications should work
Okay.
within a week or two. So I basically tell
Okay.
them, it might take more than a day or two, but usually
Hmm.
by the first week we're going to see something positive. By the second week, it might get better.
Okay. Something
So
positive,
just
right?
kind of
Okay.
telling them ahead of time what to expect, and then if you're,
Hmm.
hey, if you're not seeing what I'm just saying right now, call,
Right.
call me, because if you're not seeing, because what I do with every patient, every new patient especially, or every time I start a new medication, I tell them to call me in a week, not a
Hmm. Hmm.
charge. Call me in a week and let me know how the first week goes. I can tell by the first week of someone taking it if it's the right fit or not.
Okay. Okay.
And I might, after the first week, say, okay, that's good. Let's try increasing the dose to here before I see you, before I talk to you again. And so I do things very deliberately, but I work quickly, and I don't want people suffering needlessly when I can fix it super quickly. Usually within 2 to 3 visits, I get almost pretty much most people better,
Okay.
and
Okay.
so which is within a month
Hmm.
at the most.
Hmm.
So.
Well, why do you think they're saying, you know, it takes so long to get a result from it? Why do you think that's being said?
Why it takes so long for things to work? You mean?
Yeah, like, you know, initially they said, oh, it takes up to 4 weeks or something to get into your system.
Doctors are
Yeah.
not, they're not being aggressive enough. So okay, we're going to put
Okay.
you on this. We'll put you on Zoloft, 25 milligrams for a month
Hmm.
or two, and then 50
Gotcha.
for a month, or doing then 100. It's like, no, 50 for a week, 100 for a week. So what I do is I work quickly and very
Okay. Gotcha.
much more
Hmm.
quickly. Most doctors drag their feet, and then 2 or 3 months are passing and barely anything's happening. The thing is, the
Right.
problem is a lot of patients are going to drop out by that point. They're going to say,
Right.
forget this, it's not working. I didn't think it would work. So then all of a sudden you lose that patient, and that patient may never get treated the rest of their life.
Right. Exactly.
They got
Yeah.
frustrated
You're
with the
right.
doctor didn't wasn't aggressive enough
You're
with the
right.
treatment. and then people, that person's going to suffer needlessly probably the rest of their life because they don't trust the doctor anymore. They say, oh well, I've tried that. Well, maybe you didn't try the right thing, or maybe you didn't go to the right doctor. But a lot of the time, and again, in this area of medicine, the consequences can be dire if someone isn't treated properly. We got suicide
Mm-hmm.
possibility if someone feels hopeless. I'm never going to feel better. So what's the point of being around anymore? So there's a lot of that thinking, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. That's good info. That's good. Audience, that is really good info. Listen to what he's saying. It's really good. Okay, so we're going to switch the gears to your new book, The Corona Protocol.
Yeah. So what happened?
One insight. Give us one insight that'll blow the conversation about treating mental health wrong for decades.
Well, before that, after my first two books, before I talk about that, I wrote two books for doctors. I really realized after my first two books, I really need to teach. I need to teach doctors, especially primary care doctors. So I wrote two, put them aside. Then my new book. One thing is the title, and the subtitle is the part that like blows people away. So it's called The Corona Protocol, a scientifically proven medical solution to stop addiction, bullying, homelessness, school shootings, and suicide. 30 years in the making. So this book, basically, what I did, like I kind of changed directions with this book, is because I've always loved fiction. I'm a fiction reader. So I wanted to make this more about storytelling. So basically the book is 30 original short stories about different people that have different struggles. And I tell their stories, and then I tell like how I treated them. And so I talk about anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, PTSD, eating disorders. Then I talk about personality disorders like narcissism and sociopaths, and then I talk about all those things on the subtitle I just said. So it's a lot in this book. I'm really proud of how it came out. It's done very well. And then after I finished this book, I completed a month or two ago. I went back and finished the other two teaching books, and so those are being manufactured currently. And so then I'll have then I'll have finished 6 books, and then I'm done writing. No more after this. 23 years and 6 books is enough, and then I'm sick of writing.
You're like the third author that said that. No more. That's it.
No more. That's enough.
That's enough. Yeah.
But the book, what can there's so many stories in the book that I think people really love. There's some sad endings. There's some happy endings. It's just life. It's not everything is a happy ending, and so but I think it's an inspiring book. People said they're very inspired by it, and then realizing that I sound like that story. That story sounds so much like me. So I tried to make stories. Some of them are based on real patients, just change the specifics, and some of them are based on some patients. But I tried to make each story relevant to people, so anyone who's struggling with any type of mental health issue can find at least one story in this book that's going to be helpful.
Okay, all right. What's one thing that maybe one conversation or a chapter that would be so outstanding that set out for you that you like the most? I know you like every bit of it, but just one part.
I guess the first chapter is on anxiety disorders.
Gotcha.
I tell a couple stories about the 2 different people who struggle with it. Why that chapter? Because anxiety is the number one thing I see. It's
yes, and I hear it everywhere.
It's the number one most common psychiatric illness is anxiety disorders, whether it's social anxiety or generalized anxiety or phobias or whatnot, or generalized anxiety or panic attacks. I mean, it's a miserable condition to have. And it's the most common. So that's why I wanted to make that opening chapter really pop off the page. And so I think that chapter turned out really well. And the depression chapter, the bipolar chapter, I think I like them all. I really put a lot of time into developing each story. It took me 4 or 5 years for me to finish this book.
Right.
So I really took the time with it to make sure I got everything right on it.
Right. Okay. Good stuff. So you're bringing this message also to more people with the Dr. Paul Show.
Yeah.
From your perspective, why do we need to have these conversations out loud instead of behind the doctor's office doors?
Well, I got approached by a patient of mine sent a woman in the my book, my recent book.
Hmm.
She owns a TV network,
Okay.
and um, through Roku and Amazon Fire. Anyway, and so we had a Zoom meeting, and she said she liked my book a lot, and she said, would you be interested in doing a reality show based on what you do? And so I said, sure. And so we are in our fourth or fifth season now. But
Oh,
so
awesome.
basically, the show is me. Most of the show, besides the interviews I do, is me sitting with patients. So I basically pick people with really interesting stories who are willing to
Gotcha.
come on camera. And we sit down usually about a half hour, and basically they go through their story and then what led them to see me, and I talk about the treatment and since then,
Hmm.
and then they're all happy endings because I wouldn't probably have men otherwise, but they're all live, like live testimonials. And then after I'm done,
Right.
usually like
That's pretty cool.
I try to get 4 people to come in and to make it worthwhile to get my videographer to come in. And then after I'm done with all of them, and after when everyone leaves, then I take my whiteboard out, and then I go through each patient. Okay, here's what I did, and I draw out the neurons which are nerve cells, and explain. Okay, here's what this. So I explain on the board what each medication actually does.
Hmm. Oh, that's
All
good.
educational. But yeah, now and so yes, and it's gone really well. We're up to over 7 million views worldwide on Roku.
Wow.
We on our YouTube channel, we're up to over 140,000 views. We're getting over 5,000 new views a week on my YouTube channel.
Wow.
It's really blowing up, and so it's if you want to find it on YouTube, well, it's the Dr. Paul Show on Roku, but if you want to find it on YouTube, you have to specifically put the Dr. Paul Show all lowercase and all
Hmm.
stuck together with no spacing and no period. So it's THEDRPAULSHOW. So if you put it all just like that scrunched together, then you can see it, you get a free channel. And yeah,
Okay.
but I'm really proud of the show. It's doing really well.
Awesome.
People love it. We're doing a season right now on PTSD. So I'm having a veteran with a Purple Heart who come on, and I having people who I'm attacking. I'm talking about PTSD with different
Right.
people, emergent EMT, first responders, veterans,
Hmm.
people who've gone through really traumatic experiences, and so that's
Right.
what we're
Right.
doing this season. And but yeah, it's fun. It's been fun to do it. It's been very impacting.
It's
And
so good.
I'm also blowing up on TikTok and Instagram. My social media sites are doing really well. Yeah, and so it's been great, and the books
Awesome.
are selling, and on the first 3 books, Healing the Mind and Body series, I edited them, so they're coming out with new covers and new
Oh,
content.
that's beautiful. A relaunch.
Relaunch, everything's getting relaunched.
Yes.
My
Awesome.
Yeah, and then
That's
I
so
really
good.
want to teach. Like I said, I want to give back. I really want to give back by
Right.
talking to doctors about how to do this and how to do it
Right.
correctly. And I think
Right.
primary care doctors like myself are really the ones who need this.
Yeah, they need you. They definitely do.
Also, psychiatrists. I mean, not to berate
Yes.
psychiatrists, but they
Hmm.
often do things also the same old way, and they're not really very creative. And so I'm hoping even to get to the psychiatrists if they're willing to listen
Hmm.
to me, being a family doctor originally.
Right.
But I think I have some insights that I think would be helpful for them too.
Hmm. Hmm. That's great. Well, this is the last one, and this is a big one. If someone's listening right now feels like they tried everything and nothing has worked, what will you tell them today about not giving up?
Well, they probably really have not tried everything. They might have, So I have a lot of patients who come to see me that I said I've tried everything and they haven't. So then I look back at what the previous doctors tried, and they're like, well, they're just doing the same thing over and over again. They're just, they've tried 5 SSRIs, they've tried this. They haven't stepped back. They haven't gotten the diagnosis correct. So that's the one thing, is to make sure that the diagnosis is correct, and that have they tried the correct medications. There's
Mm.
other alternatives. There's psilocybin, microdosing mushrooms. That seems to be very hopeful. There's a lot of
Right.
increasing evidence. There's ketamine, which has gotten more popular.
Mhm.
There's safety concerns, but if you do it, if you go to someone who knows what they're doing, and then there's, we call TMS, where you sit in this chair and it's not like, they have these things around your head. It's not painful, not like electroconvulsive therapy, but it's, that's another, it's expensive, but that's when medications don't work. So not to give up. If you have a struggle, just, there is an answer out there, but even if you haven't found it yet, don't give up. There is, if you're struggling, it's real, and don't let anybody ever tell you, oh, just get over it, just try harder.
Right.
That's nonsense. If you feel the way you're feeling, and most of the reasons for it is genetics. Genetics is the number one reason people go to and people are looking at situations more and thinking like, well, my situation is okay. Why would I feel? Well, it's not always about situation. You got to look at your mom and your dad, your grandparents, your siblings. I mean, here's an example. I mean, Robin Williams, and I know you've heard, you might have known Twitch. Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, both of those suicides really blew me away. I mean, Robin Williams, happy guy, always funny.
Yes, cracking jokes, everything. Yeah.
She's always smiling and dancing, and he had 2 young kids at home. So you wouldn't expect, and you think, well, someone who like that, they were probably doing great with money. They're at fame. They have all these people who love them. Why would they do these things? And well, and why would, and my son was really mad. He said, I'm mad at Twitch for doing it. I go, look, don't be mad at him. He was miserable, and he was depressed, and he didn't see a way out, and he did that. And so it things don't make sense often in this area of medicine.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for, I think, things happening, and there's typically really good solutions.
That's good. Wow, this conversation has opened my eyes, and I know, audience, it's opened your eyes. So if this has done some, something for you in this healing journey, by all means, stop by and visit the Dr. Paul Show and buy his book today. Okay, don't forget.
One quick thing before we wrap up. My books are available. My books are available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart. And my newest book, The Chrono Protocol, is also on Audible, and it's on audiobook on Audible. So
yes, all right. Yes, so we love to have like people on the show to just be involved in so many things, and we all about mind and body. So guys, I want you to check us out, watch this, and then get the book. You can find it anywhere. Just look up Dr. Paul. Just do that. Dr. Corona, look him up, and you'll find all his books. And please visit his show, the Dr. Paul Show. And if you've liked this episode, please like, subscribe, and share the episode with some people that can break free from the old way of thinking. Join us here on the YouTube channel, Keeping It Real on Purpose. And we thank you for visiting us today, Dr. Paul, and see you next time. Bye for now.
We've all done it. Stock our fridge with good intentions, only to sacrifice nutrition for convenience. Keep your body and mind nourished with whole body meal shakes from Kachava. It's got 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, and so much more. But it actually tastes delicious. Try one of Kachava's indulgent flavors today. Shop now through December 2nd to get 30% off your first purchase of 2 or more bags. Go to kachava.com and use code NEWS. That's KACHAVA.com, code NEWS.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.